He's trying to sit still, questions, talking, it's all part of the meditation. If people are fidgeting, disrupts the class. I could tell you many stories about Rudy, and I've heard many stories about Rudy. But one of the things that he taught me is that these classes, the meditation, the effort to have a spiritual life goes beyond folk tales and stories into the very sacred nature of what each and every human being is. Every human being is sacred. Every human being is a child of God. Energy of a higher nature is not positive or negative, it's just energy. It comes into us, and because our minds are so active and our emotions and sexual energy and all that chaos creates positive and negative. It creates the difficulties and the conflicts that we are up against in life. So he taught me early on, I have to change. Taught me early on, the world is not going to change. I have to change. I have to build an inner life that's strong enough, to be able to look out at the world and see the very sacred nature of this place. And that was an amazing, lesson when I finally stopped blaming life and realized, Stuart, this is not going to change. But I can change. I can use this double breathing exercise. I can use the Shakti, the energy I'm receiving from my teacher to truly go deep inside myself and make significant changes that enable me to see the world differently. And as my inner life changed, the world became different. It became fun. It became, somebody sent me yesterday some photographs of when I was in Denton, Texas, and different things that were going on there, the restaurant, and pictures of belly dancers and, all that stuff. And it was extraordinary. I look back and I just started to laugh. I said, Stuart, you took this town that you didn't want to live in and transformed it into something that was at least relatively magical. And I thought, and the only reason that could happen, I changed inside. Something in me got stronger, deeper, more open. The heart was working in a deeper way. And it manifested in my daily life. So I really got a big chuckle out of that. I saw all these pictures of, man, my God, it's 40 years ago, when I was there. And it gave me a very deep sense of surrender and how much I had changed when I was there. And I look at my life today and I see how much I have changed since then. And I think that really is the significance of Rudy's meditation. Every human being is a sacred person. Every human being is sacred. Every human being has the ability to transform themselves and to begin to look out at life and see that they are living in God's temple. When people don't make the effort, it becomes God's madhouse. Not because God, the energy of God is not positive or negative. There's no polarity in it. It's simply energy. And human beings, because they don't do enough deep inner work, transform it into all the insanity that goes on in the world. People have to change. And that, from day one, I found to be the single most extraordinary thing about Rudy's work. I can't blame the world. I have to take full responsibility for my life, the way I live, and making the effort to change inside myself. And when I look out at all of you and I see that everyone has a chakra system, all of you are sitting there right now in this deep sense of inner peace. The energy is really strong here. So the significance of all of this is sustaining it day after day, getting training. I got training. If I didn't get that training, God help what I would be like today if I'd even be alive today. And I used to hear Rudy say the exact same thing. He did everything he did out of gratitude to the teachers that gave him his life. I mean, the Shankaracharya, it's a wonderful story about Rudy and the Shankaracharya, how he got to live with the Shankaracharya. The Shankaracharya came to New York. He was invited by people in New York to come to the United States. And Rudy was part of the group that met him at the airport. And the Shankaracharya, I don't know about now, but at that time he was like the Pope in India. Very powerful spiritual figure. And he's there and everybody is giving him flowers and this and that and the other and bowing to him and kissing his foot. And Rudy went up to him and said, Baba, can I take you to the restroom? And the Shankaracharya looked at Rudy and he just started to smile. And he said, you really understand me? And Rudy took his hand. The guy was like 90 years old, 85 years old, took his hand and took him to the restroom. And when he came out of the restroom, the Shankaracharya said, I want you to come live with me for 3 months. I mean, that's really how it works. I walked into Rudy's gallery one day. I had a friend with me. Rudy's presence made didn't in any way inspire this friend of mine. I met Rudy and it totally changed my life. And I said to this friend of mine, I don't know what happened in that gallery, but I have to go back and meet this man. I said, I have to go back. And then we went back to this friend of mine's apartment. And I'll never forget this. He was living in I lived in that same building and it was railroad flats with bathtubs in the kitchen and toilets in the hallway. And, it was basically a New York City slum at the time, tenement buildings. We're walking up the stairs and we meet this man on the stairwell who says, hey, why don't you come into my apartment and have a cup of tea? And we said, okay. So we went into his apartment. And in this tenement, this guy had probably a $500,000 Oriental art collection, which today would probably be worth $5 million. I mean, this is back in 1960 something, And I looked at him and I had just met Rudy an hour before. I said, where did you get all this stuff? He said, there's a guy in Greenwich Village named Rudy. And I said, oh my God, Stuart, the gods are talking to you. And I told his friend, I don't know what happened, but I got to go back and meet that person. And the next day I went back and met him. He showed me the exercise. First thing he taught me, bring your mind to the chakra below the navel. Build foundation inside yourself. The mind is a surgical instrument that will open the very core of your being. It's the first thing he taught me. Then the heart, then drawing energy through the sex. But the first thing he taught me, bring your attention below the navel. Build the foundation inside yourself. And then I heard him talk endlessly about that, endlessly. And somebody got in touch with me the other day about making teachers. And I wrote them, you can't make a teacher. A teacher has to become a teacher. You can only nurture them so deeply in themselves that it helps them to build a chakra system that ultimately is strong enough to be able to sit here and do this meditation with other people. It takes time, it takes patience, and that's the responsibility of a teacher, to nurture other people so that ultimately they will become spiritually enlightened. You can't make them spiritually enlightened. And that is a combined effort between both the student and the teacher. The students need to grow and become one with God. The teachers need to pass on everything he's been given from his guru, from his teacher, so that that spiritual teaching sustains itself in the world.
Stuart, can I ask a question?
Of course.
Just for clarity, when you say put the mind in the attention of the navel, of the chakra below the navel, just for clarity, what that means exactly. So far, I'm understanding it that, like, saith.
Okay, listen, take your hand, put your hand out like this. You see? All right, now bring your attention to your hand. Can you feel your fingers?
Yes.
You sense your palm of your hand? We touch things all the time. Our mind is always going there. You do the same thing with the chakra below the navel. You bring the focal point of your attention to that chakra. The energy of the mind will open that chakra. It becomes like a surgical instrument that opens the chakra. Then when you breathe into the chakra, the breath strengthens the chakra. If you breathe into that chakra without opening it, there you are. You jump from one side of my screen to the other. If you breathe into the chakra without opening it, you understand, it'll make the chakra even tighter. Some people, I see them meditate, they're just pushing and it doesn't work. You got to relax into it and then bring your attention down here. That will open the chakra. It's like a lotus flower. It will open. It's the base that a Buddha sits on. It will open. And breath, the prana, the energy of breath. Breath is life. Every time you inhale, you take in life. You bring it into that chakra, it will expand the chakra. Not by forcing it, but by just breathing there. It will expand the chakra. But the first step is to bring your attention down there so that you're not just sitting there and thinking. You're focusing that powerful energy of mind at the very core of your being. I always say, and tell me if I'm wrong, great singers sing from there. They don't sing from their emotions, they sing from the core, the power that's inside them. Great dancers dance from there. Athletes, when they're in the zone, they are there. They're not in their heads. That's the real power. And in this meditation, we are learning how to use the one instrument that can help us to open that chakra, give us the strength inside, and then to open the heart, keep the heart open, keep the mind quiet, move energy through the sexual area to the base of the spine, and to receive spiritual Shakti, spiritual energy, which nurtures the entire chakra system.
Thank you. That's helped so much.
You're welcome, dear. Does anyone else have a question I would like to ask? I had a great vision in this class of finding a place where all of you can come and we can all sit and meditate with each other, big hugs after class, and have a dinner, not an ashram, but it's just a place where people can come. We had a retreat last weekend. It was extraordinary. It was extraordinary, the power of the weekend. I watched people changing in front of my eyes. I saw myself changing right in front of me. And it was extraordinary. And I'm hoping that at some point in the future, I can do this with all of you, you know, to truly transmit the power of what this meditation is about in person. It's very strong over the internet, but it's even stronger when we do it in person. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Just so you'll know, there's going to be another Samadhi class this evening. I usually don't have a class Tuesday evening, but I sent out a notice to people. I know people live in the Middle East, they live all over Brazil, they're from all over the place here, you know, Europe, all over America. But if you'd like to come this evening, you can get in touch with myself, with Jennifer, and we'll put you on the list and you'll get an invitation. I know it's like 1:30 in the morning in Israel, but it might be worth staying up an hour, you know, and having a class like this again. Anyway, does anyone else have, God bless you all, and thank you for being here. I tell you, it's just amazing to me. And as I say, almost after every one of my classes, you all are my teacher. You all are demanding of me to go so deep inside myself, you know, that it's opening areas in me that I never dreamed were possible. So God bless you and thank you for being part of this. I'm hoping that all of this transmits to every one of you. I would like to see other people doing what I'm doing. You know, it's part of the training. As I said, you can't make teachers, they have to become teachers. All you can do is nurture people and they will grow and they will truly evolve in themselves. And one day they're sitting, other people are coming to get the Shakti and the wisdom. So God bless you all. Thank you. There'll be a class this evening. If you're interested in coming, let me know. Or let Jennifer know, whoever you get in touch with, and you'll get an invitation. Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stuart.
Thank you,
Really
Stuart.
somebody.
It was very beautiful and strong.
Thank you. Ciao.